boom,
Do you have a target for debuting these bikes, or when
No,
they're
I don't
done,
have targets anymore.
Yeah.
I have a target in my head.
Sure.
I mean, this one's coming out now. That one's 30 days later.
We're at Evil Iron Customs in Columbus, Ohio. Here to meet Don to see what he's got going on in the shop. We can't wait to get in there. Let's go. Hey, Don.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Very good.
Good to see you.
I'm so glad you came down and visited us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
We're really excited to see what you got going on.
Well, we're real excited to show you, so let's get in here and take a look around.
That bike for Denny cleaned up.
We've had lots of
attention.
We've had lots.
He only lives 15 minutes from me.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We've had those years a few times
Yeah.
on a lot of bikes we built.
I saw the trophies.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've been blessed to do very well.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever built a bike that didn't do good. Maybe not like the Smurf Tail.
Yeah.
But they've all done pretty well.
Yeah.
And these bikes, nobody has a clue what's going to hit them in the head. These bikes are really the bar. Denny set the bar pretty high. No one has a clue that these bikes are going to come out like boom,
Right.
boom, boom.
Do you have a target for debuting these bikes, or when
No, I
they're
don't
done?
have
They're
targets anymore.
done? Yeah.
I have a target in my head.
Sure.
I mean, this one's coming out now. That one's 30 days later. That one's 30 days later.
Sure.
The other soft tail that we're building is 30 days behind. They're all going to go ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
So they'll be all summer long. And hopefully by then we have a few more people that want to build for fall and winter.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd want to try to get maybe 5 or 6 more.
All right. What's your goal a year? If you could, the perfect sweet spot to where you're.
How many?
Yeah, you're meeting your expectation, but you're not feeling like you're.
Well, I mean, I think you probably need to do, realistically, minimum of 10 a year.
Yeah.
10 a year's 1 a month. Holidays. December's fucked up with the holidays.
Yeah. Always.
So you can't really look at that. And March is fucked up with Daytona.
That's right.
So you can't plan on getting a lot done in March because March is a mess. You could try.
That's right.
Now, maybe with more staff and more help, you could rearrange where you had people in here working, but you're a week before Daytona getting ready and you're all the week of Daytona there. And
then you're a week recovering.
That kind of hacks the month up.
Yep. Well, and are you in Sturgis every year too?
I was in Sturgis 20 years straight. I've had the last 3 years off because the house burned down, so I haven't been back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 20 years straight.
Yep.
But at Christmas, December's because of Thanksgiving and things are going on in the month with the family and Christmas itself and then New Year's. It's kind of you get things done, but you don't get things done like you do the rest of the year.
No. And we talked about the paint.
And painters, we're blessed right now that the painters that we have are doing what they're supposed to do.
How many are you working with right now?
Three.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
3 painters right now. And really 4 because our local painter that paints the base coats, he's got to be in there too.
Yeah.
He gets them all prepped and ready and primed and bodyworked and he gets them ready and then we ship them off to these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also does a lot of our day-to-day bikes.
Yeah.
The stuff that we don't get out there and post, but an accident repair, someone just wants to change up their bike with new paint.
Still a very integral part of, hey, somebody needs a black repair. Somebody needs a set of bags painted black.
Yes.
You got to have that
every day.
So he is a very important part of what we do, just as important as the rest.
Well, that's, we were talking when I was coming in and had a brief tour. I had no idea that in addition to this, you guys were doing just daily, 3-hole maintenance.
I had a guy call me yesterday that wants, we couldn't do the work because he wanted, he has 2 subwoofers. He wants them replaced. He wants to do a new programmer. He wants, big bike, audio bike.
Yep.
And he wanted it done. And I said, well, I'm more than willing to help you. I said, when do you want it back by?
Come on.
And he said, I need it back by May 12th.
Yeah.
I said, we can't do your work.
Right. Yeah.
So he's going to Myrtle Beach.
No.
Oh, okay.
He had a blessing of the bikes on the 12th.
Oh, yes.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're going, hypothetically going to Myrtle Beach, and there's no way we're doing it before that.
Right.
So I said, we can't touch it.
Yeah.
I just told him no.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I said, I'm going to be honest with you and not paint a picture and bring this in here and have you barking and bitching because we didn't get you done.
That's right.
And I'd rather be that guy than the guy that pisses you off because it doesn't happen.
I'm a firm believer in under promising and over delivering.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You never get anywhere, especially in any industry, but especially this industry. I mean, over promising and then having a bunch of disappointment.
There's a lot of time that you spend making sure that who's involved with the bike isn't going to hang you. Because I say it's like a rat in a wheel. You're running in that gerbil's running in that wheel, man. Except the difference is he's got a noose on his neck, and that's us. We're running in that wheel, and the first person that doesn't follow through with what they're supposed to do, you trip and fall in that wheel, and you're.
That's right.
So you gotta try to keep everybody in the right huddle and trying to hit time frames that are realistic.
Mm-hmm.
No time frame. Anybody that comes in that door, no time frame is fixed. But you don't want to let it get completely out of hand. We used to build Softails in about 90 days.
Okay.
And baggers in about 120, 140 days. And I think those are realistic timeframes. That number has slid a little bit in the supply chain issues, painters, and you try to get it back in a little bit more because 6 months turns into 8 months really fast.
Yeah.
You can lose 30 days and go, I just lost 30 days on that project because this, and this. And it's, at some point, it gets frustrating for people.
I gotta ask, back in your early days when you were drag racing and you brought that up, were you doing that work yourself? And
yeah,
we're talking about drag racing bikes or cars or both.
No, bikes.
And you were working on those bikes and building them
I was working on them. I didn't do the motors.
Yeah.
We sent them out all over to motor shops.
Yeah.
Because those guys are very specific, as such as Chris is on the motors he builds. If you want a fast drag bike, you don't do it yourself. You pick the guy that's badass, that's building 7 and 8 second bikes, and you send him the motor. Could we take cylinders off? Yeah, sure. Could we do chains and sprockets and wheels? Absolutely. Motocross, reed blocks, wheels, changing gear. Yeah, all that. So we're mechanical all the way. When it gets down to making them fast, no. Chris is.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Right. No, I get it.
When I look at them, do I understand what I'm seeing? Yes. Do I have the patience or the intricacies to build a racing motor? No. You got to have a whole group of people to build something like that or like that.
Yes.
Yeah. You got your welders, you got your painters, you got your body guys, you got your seat makers, you got your motor guys, all this fabricated parts. The exhaust on that bike is handmade. Mikey from CMP.
Okay.
Made the exhaust. He's out in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Put all those people together, you end up with something that's incredible.